Good evening, KZFR. This is your host of Writing on Air, Kevin. How's it going, everyone? Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, celebrating 30 years of lifelong learning at CSU Chico. OLLI offers more than 130 peer-led classes this fall, including a wide range of intellectual, cultural, social, and recreational activities. Over 50 years or retired, OLLI is a great way to keep learning. The fall class preview is on August 9th at 10 a.m. at Manzanita Place. For more information, call 898-6679 or visit olli.csuchico.edu. Hi, everyone. I am back with my co-host, Brandon. How you doing, Brandon?
I'm glad to be back.
And let's try this again.
Hello. Yeah, it's nice when you actually turn my mic on.
There's two mics, too. I just must have mislabeled that or something. Yikes. Anyways.
Well, one is the air mic and one is the guest mic.
I apparently missed them. We're just going to move on with that horrible mistake there. And we have a guest today, Aziah. Yeah. I've only practiced that like 17 times now in my head, so got it down. How you doing, man?
I'm great.
This is going to be awesome. I'm so stoked for this.
Yes.
Our show, I should probably finish the intro, is called Writing on Air, and you can submit if you want to be part of the show. You can email me. I would say call me or text me, but you probably don't have my number, and I'm not giving that out over the air. So email us at write.onair@gmail.com.
That is WRITE.onair@gmail.com.
We also have a YouTube page, which is becoming more and more updated after the show quickly. Usually I have a problem with waiting many days.
He's getting better, people.
I'm getting better. I'm working on it. Seeing a class now, a lot of people, help group, Anyways, what else do we have? We have a Facebook group as well, Writing on Air. You can Google us there. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. Please submit. You guys are the show. If we don't have you, we have to think of writing or find stuff online or anywhere. Actually, we haven't found stuff online yet, but we have had to scramble for some pieces.
We have begged, borrowed, and nearly stolen from our friends.
Nearly stolen. It's on record, Brennan. Nearly stolen.
We haven't. We've asked. And they've given it to us.
That's true, yeah. We've had some very kind people submit. So you guys literally make this show. As I say, pretty much every show, we are the frame, you guys are the picture, and whatever you want to put in there, we'll air. It's a pretty relaxed, chill format. Nothing strict. We don't reject people, and I like to stress over and over, this is not a critique show. This is an appreciation show. We like to make sure your writing is heard. If you want to be on here just to have some pride in being a writer, do it. Please be on the show.
You won't judge me?
Nope.
We'll comment, but there will be no judgment.
We do have different views sometimes. Those are always fun. But
ooh, I hope we find some of those.
Yeah, it usually results in fistfights.
Really?
Most likely, yeah, 90% of the time. And we can say that because no one can see us. So for all we know, we're fighting each other right now. Yeah. All right. Well, I think we should dive into the pieces. You're reading these tonight, right?
Tonight, right now.
Cool. Yeah.
Yes.
Tomorrow night. We'll wait a day or two. Yeah. So I guess anything you want to say about your pieces before you get into them, or
these? Let's see. I think these have all been written in the past year or so.
Recent.
Except maybe one of them, if we get that far. Just short poems. Typically they're short. And I could just jump right in and read the first and see where we go.
Let's do it.
Awesome. I wrote this first one. I went to Hawaii this summer and stayed in Kona for a while. And on Old A's Airport, I walked out to the beach and found a nice little cove of rocks and cuddled up and wrote this one. It's called Mighty Waves. Mighty waves, I too am restless. Bashing, thrashing, mighty waves, from where are you summoned? Naturally eternal, bound to endless crashing. Breaking against rock, never tired. Beastly waves, how deep do you writhe? Spinning your vigor wide and high, jumping from the peak, you separate and return. Helplessly falling, where do you rest? Are you mellow, in your deep below? Do your bowels dance in ancient saltwater wells? Incredible waves, self-proclaimed glory. Do you keep track of your endless count? Your froth and foam relax my eyes. When do you start, mighty waves? Is your beginning somewhere in distant middle sea? Is your finale the echoing roar of the shore crash? Do you crash to begin again? Is your mighty roar trembling against the rock and sand your birth? Can you die, mighty wave? Are you alive? Do you love? Can you feel the way I feel? Do you ever sit still and listen?
Oh, I love that piece so much.
Thanks.
What are your thoughts, Brennan?
I love it. It's kind of personifying this natural event that everyone looks at, and everyone I've ever seen that shows up to a beach for the first time sees the surf coming in and their jaw just drops, because it's just this magical thing that's happening before you, and you don't know where it started, where it ends,
It's hard
why
to even
it's
understand
happening.
how it's happening, yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
I love the idea, like when I read this piece, of one consciousness looking at something that may or may not be a conscious entity and trying to glean, what are you, because I want to know what I am.
Right.
And just looking at everything around it and seeing this magnificent, huge body of water and just trying to appreciate it for what it is and asking questions to it. There's like this reciprocity that's happening, this like back and forth of like, I can draw things from you, are you drawing things from me? And that's such a cool dynamic for like
It's almost hard not to communicate and personify something so grand.
yeah, it's a miraculous piece. That's so good.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great to write. I haven't edited it either. It just came out, and I haven't read it since I wrote it.
That's fantastic. That's even better sometimes. It's like hitting you for the first time too.
Right, yeah. It's like, oh, this is not bad.
Better than, oh, this might be a little bit worse. We haven't had any of those pieces yet, but this one was really good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what other first thoughts I had for this piece. I don't know. I really just love this like mirror perspective almost. Like when you're looking at these waves, you're looking at yourself in some dimensions.
Right.
Like if we're all one type of thing. Like that's the vibe that this piece has for it, which is so indicative of the writer and all these things. Like you put yourself in this piece because you want to know.
I really love that line. Can you feel the way I feel?
Yeah.
It's like, that's a good one.
Yep. Ah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
me. That's an amazing poem.
Thanks, dude. Thank you. Should I move on?
Yeah, let's keep rolling.
All right. This is one I haven't really read that much either. I write so much and I just throw them away, and it's like, I'll pull this out for now. I guess it's called Love/When We See. All right. A little rain could never hurt me. I'd like to wait to follow you. I feel the thorn of springtime leaving, broken hearts surpassing death. Drop the words dropped in your direction. Perhaps your steps will trip and stifle me wordless. Young wisdom's hands holding the evening, entwining our words as harmless songs. I wash my hands and let my eyes free. The hold on me is pushing you. I long to fall into you fully. I long to love the way you do. Reaching deep, inward dreaming. Not us waste each other's time. Oh, that's not right. Let us not waste each other's time. Reaching for something that isn't there. Held in all that we are. For all that is you is me. And together we are nothing more than ourselves.
I love that piece too. That's such a, oh man, I'm trying to think of the words for this. I like it when a piece hits me and I have to kind of digest for a second, because usually that's indicative of something that's really profound that I have to be like, wow, this is a feeling that I'm not quite sure of exactly how it's hitting me. Like, what do I want to breathe back into it, you know?
Right.
Which is a good way of saying I'm not sure what I'm going to say next. But this piece has such a solid center around love, and not just looking for some like small relationship. You want the most core thing at the highest level, because the last paragraph or last couple stanzas there that I liked when I read it have to deal with wanting love as two separate individuals coming for one. It feels like I want to be a whole person, and same with you. I don't want to waste your time.
Yeah.
I want this to be real, and I want to meet on the same page.
The merging.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the merging. We'll keep it very loose for our younger audiences, but yeah, that's such an amazing aspect, and usually I would say what most people who are looking for love are trying to shoot for.
Yeah, it's like that unrealistic goal that we all think is out there and no one's found it yet.
Maybe they have.
Maybe some have.
And they're running. They're not telling any of
And
us.
they
They're
left.
just
They're like,
dove
"We're
in and
outta
left."
here.
Yeah, pretty much. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the last stanza especially kind of provokes the title to me, Love/When We See, because it says, let us not waste each other's time reaching for something that isn't there. held in all that we are, for all that is you is me, and together we are nothing more than ourselves. It sounds like two people who want to be more together, but have realized that even when we're together, I'm just me and you're just you.
Yeah.
So this doesn't quite work. This isn't what it's supposed to be. This isn't two things being more together than we were apart.
Right. There's kind of a forlorn aspect to it. Like a reaching, and it's not there, but it's still like, I want it.
Yep.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Any thoughts for your piece?
Thoughts
what were
for
you
my
thinking?
piece?
Yeah.
It's funny reading these. I'm like, I really hit it hard at the end of these pieces. Like, really
Yeah.
punch them in the face at the very end. I like this one a lot. It's funny. It's like refreshing me too as I read these. I love the "I long to fall into you fully," and it kind of embodies the love I'd like to find. It's just like a full kind of openness and honesty with yourself and another and life itself, and
It's relaxed.
relaxed. Yeah, just
There's
open.
no
surrendered.
stress in it. It's just going into it as you are. Just the
If
best
only.
part. If only, yeah. That's the other ones. I think you have a few pieces on that "if only" part too coming up.
Right? Yeah. Let's
yeah,
keep going.
it should
Let's
be
keep
fun.
going.
Not to prompt a cue. That was a good segue,
Yeah.
but it wasn't
You better
intentional.
have this piece ready. All right, this one, the backstory is just brief, kind of. I won't give too much, but it's kind of like about high school days years ago, and I used to go hang out under this tree with lady friends, and we just sit under the tree and eat lunch and talk, and sometimes make out if it was that kind of a lady friend. So yeah, it's called "Beneath the Tree We Slept Under." The tree we slept under, with our eyes equally as open as our hearts. This tree, where I fell into you countlessly, a bed of grass, thick enough to drown the city that held us. This tree broke my words and splintered the bark of my lover's skin. Under this tree, we gave depth to the shadows, and as I pulled the lily petals through the space between your fingers, I lied to myself and told you, you are all that knows of this. And in belief, I broke the spirit that bound us and cast you to shallow doubt, weaving the shadows of spring limbs in bloom with another lost lover. The green in the fingers of the old tree died and died again, as did the lovers I deceived beneath the tree we slept under. That was kind of a heavy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it is. I've always appreciated the, I guess, duality, but it's probably more than just a duality, but I'll stick with that word. The duality of relationships. How there's this, in each person, there's two things going on, usually more, but oftentimes two things. It's what the one person sees as their reality and what they're bringing to the table, but then they're showing a different aspect of it. Like, well, I'm going to put up this face, but actually in my mind, I'm thinking something else.
Right.
Pretty much. And
Yeah.
this hits that perfectly. I deceived myself and lied and made this a genuine experience for you, but it wasn't for me.
Right.
And that
And it's so hard to show up genuinely.
Yeah, and
Truly.
repetitively.
Yeah.
Over and over again, especially.
That's the hardest part, is keeping up with it too, and like,
Yeah.
wow.
It shows, though, a really, I think, at another level, a really, you could go either way with this. I'm going to say a selfless center there, in the fact that even though it's hard to keep this kind of cycle going, you're the author, whoever's obviously you're the author, but whoever you're speaking about in the piece is still trying to keep that genuine front there for the other person, being like, I'm going to create this atmosphere, this perspective for you, so you, at least, even though I'm not in the same present moment as you, you're experiencing something
Yeah.
profound too, and
Yeah.
that is another form of love, I think, as well.
Yeah, and the question I think would be after that is like, how selfish is that to like hold someone away from your truth
Yeah.
and not fully be honest with someone? Yeah.
Yep.
That's when it gets tricky.
That's when it gets super tricky. Yeah, it's a weird, like, convoluted, like, back and forth fight inside your mind, and then
Right,
with
yeah.
the other person, and
Dissonance.
It's that point where, is a white lie really that bad?
Where's the line of the lie?
yep.
Yeah.
It's such a really well crafted piece. It feels like watching a spider web being laid almost.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, thank
yeah.
you. These pieces kind of came after I discovered Walt Whitman,
Okay. Yeah.
poet from back in the day, old white dude, dead now.
Yep.
But he did Leaves of Grass. That was his big one, and it was just like I read that and it changed my perspective on writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to, before this piece, you made a comment. You hadn't read this one in a while, and you're remembering some things on it. And that reminded me of how neat it is that some writing, like even stuff I've done, I will write it, forget about it for a long time, and then come back to it. And it's such a beautiful snapshot of exactly what was going on in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And immediately I'm sent back to what was going on in that exact moment. And it's profound. Those pieces capture that.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really wonderful how poetry and writing in general can be this time capsule for us all.
Yeah.
Of what we were thinking or who we were at that time, because or what's on the page when we read it as authors ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we know what we were thinking. We know
Yeah.
what we were feeling, where we were.
Yeah, I think that's why it's especially important too, as an artist or an author, or any sort of someone who's expressing some sort of deeper undertone or deeper emotion, to show up honestly for yourself within the piece that you're creating, and don't make excuses not to say something or not to do something, but lay it down and get it out there, you know. Because if you don't, you're lying. It's another lie. It's like you're lying to
Yeah.
yourself at that point.
Then why are you writing?
Why are you writing if you're not being honest? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a fun one too. Is why are you writing if you're not being honest? Is it for a practice? Is it for something else? Like, are you trying to
Right.
imitate a style or something like that?
Yeah.
Like the writing gets, I won't say more interesting, but it definitely takes on a new dynamic when you're
Yeah.
writing from like a very deep part that you almost don't
Yeah.
want to tell people.
And it's for me at least, it's hard to write when I'm not in that state of like really feeling or really. And that's why I go a few months without writing anything, because it's just like
Has to build up.
it's got to build up. Yeah, you got to fill the well and then empty it.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
That's often how I write my pieces as well, and I think Brandon's the same kind of way.
Yeah.
There's usually a lot of build up, and then it comes out as just like this beautiful,
Yeah.
just
Comes in waves.
yeah. See what you did there.
Should I go next?
Yeah, let's do the next one.
How much time we got?
Plenty of time.
Awesome. This one's called Every Motion You Make, and it's about a girl. Yeah, like most of them are.
That's fine.
All right. Every motion you make ripples the still ocean and takes my reasons away before you. You hold me mesmerized. The pictures my eyes cast take me home and drown my past in a still rain overcast by rainbow moon clouds. I found you in reflections. If I saw you only in colors, it would burn my eyes a rainbow. If only you saw me, and my eyes bolted shut, dances of love are all that would move me. And when I'm afraid, I collapse to the cold like a child, reaching inside for warmth, weeping in a hollow cage. When I move upon the ground we sow, to the cold I surrender, and fall as snow, melt into the embers of our burning garden. I invite you to love me, as the moon loves the night, and in the darkness we will be safe.
That's another heavy hitting one.
It's pretty heavy.
Yeah. What was your background on that one? So you said it was a girl.
Yeah, I wrote this one recently, and
You don't have to disclose it too much.
Yeah,
No worries.
I don't need to. The feelings are still there.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. It's hard to even think about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like there is this kind of darkness or shadow within everything, and even with it, there's still this beauty, I guess. If I saw you only in colors, it would burn my eyes a rainbow. If only you saw me and my eyes bolted shut, dances of love are all that would move me. You know, I don't quite know.
There's still. Yeah. No, that's I get that. It's such a profound thing when you hit that style of love or that type of love, I guess, because it is both great and powerful.
Terrifying.
In the sense that it's uncontrollable,
Yeah.
it's huge, and it's monstrously.
Takes over your entire life.
Yeah. It puts a lens over your eyes that like everything you see is in that color. almost. You've heard that, like,
Yeah.
rose-tinted glasses, which is a different reference, but same type of thing. It's an intense piece, and you're oftentimes not able to direct it. And so that in turn means it just hits every aspect.
Yeah.
Every aspect of your life.
Yeah, it kind of has this one has kind of like a manic feel to it, like a manic
Yeah.
love, uncontrollable, like,
Energy. It's
energy,
just-
yeah.
Yeah, it has to get out there. It needs to have life in it. It needs to
Yeah.
be fed, actually, would be the better term for that.
Yeah, it needs dinner.
Yeah.
It's
Sell
hungry.
it for lunch, but yeah, dinner works too.
Hungo.
What's your thoughts, Brennan?
It seems like this was just so intense, because there's the second to the last stanza that says, "When I move upon the ground we sow, to the cold I surrender, fall as snow melt into the embers of our burning garden." Sounds like this was so intense and so... There's this old saying about the torch that burns so bright it burns itself, sort of thing.
Mhm.
It sounds like this garden you were growing, this relationship you were growing, burned down because the relationship was too intense, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. No, totally. And within that, like, reading that now, there's a nice kind of a push and pull of, like, cold and hot and melt, and I use words that are kind of, like, I guess, like, opposites in there
Mhm.
to really kind of make you be like, ah.
Which is indicative of, like, do I want, do I not want, should I not?
Yeah.
Like, is this...
It's this pull in two different directions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, not to rush us, let me take a look real quick, see
Yeah,
if we have time
totally. Go
for
for it.
one more. Just looking at our sizes. Usually, because the show is only half an hour, we kind of have to, like...
Speed things along.
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because we could probably take one of these and talk for an hour
You should
on
get
them.
some, like, rappers in here, and they can just, like, spit
The entire
verses
time.
the whole
just
time. Yeah.
no speaking. That'd be
Yeah,
fantastic.
get like 100 poems in.
I think we have time for this one.
This one?
Yeah.
Great. Blister. Oh, this one's fun.
Yeah.
So I was working out in Kona, digging a bunch of holes and stuff, and the first day I was there, I got this gnarly blister on my hand, and it festered for about the whole visit. That's what this is about. Blister. I love you. Remind me how I am flesh and blood, sweet blood. My nectar is only for me. My nectar is only in me. Pulsing in open air, open blister, red, raw, ripe with pain. I undressed my skin to find you. If not for your tenderness, I would suckle you, as all lips on wounds of the flesh. Tasting the second layer, my shell of skin. Golden seal convulsing my heart. Pain so real, remind me how close the stars are. I love you, pain. Remind me of the sweet life I am. Lament the time before my birth.
I like that so much. When I read that, I had to, like, smile through the entire thing. It's about a blister,
It's about a blister, yeah.
and it's so beautiful.
And it hurt.
Yeah, yep. Oh, it's amazing how that much pain can, like, just condense into this.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
And the thing about pain, I don't like being in pain, but it really does center you back into your body. It's like,
There's a clarity.
I am a human. I hurt. This is owie.
Yep.
Yeah.
And small things like a blister where you get hurt that easily, it's just like, wow, I'm really fragile.
I'm really delicate, yeah. Really delicate thing.
Yeah.
Totally.
I think there was a whole sect in India at one time, I forget what they were called, who would actually, their way of reaching enlightenment was through pain. So they'd whip themselves. Can you think of the word for that, Brennan?
Flagellate, and that was a Catholic tradition for a very...
Not for that, the people who did it. Ascetics.
Flagellants.
Ascetics is who I'm thinking
Was
of, though.
also
That was the group of people.
another-
Okay.
Yeah.
Where were they
term for
from?
them.
India, but they probably appeared anywhere.
I mean, that's
society.
that's common throughout a lot of cultures.
Crusade era Catholicism, lots of crusaders were what you would call flagellants, which they
Yeah.
whipped and beat themselves to
Wow.
be closer to Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. So it's reoccurred, but that had, like, kind of the element in it without the self.
Without the self-mutilation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was just, oh, this is an occurrence. Let me ponder on this. What is
Yeah.
this? What is this doing to me? Which is, I think, much healthier than the other.
Much healthier, yeah.
the other ways
Don't
to go about
get
it.
blisters on purpose.
No, unless you're feeling calluses. But you know what? I'm not going to give any health advice on this show. We're just going to stray away from that. This piece is such. It's pleasant. I mean, even though there's pain right there, there's still such a very, like, a fondness for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I this sucks, but also, like, it reminds me of some things that I really need to keep centered in my life, like life and how close I am to just reality and the stars, as you were saying.
Yeah.
Just such a profound thing.
Yeah, delicate.
Delicate is the word for it. Okay, so I prompted you before the show,
Yes.
and we're in the last couple of minutes here, so I'll prompt you again.
Mm-hmm.
What advice would you give any new or old writers? We'll maybe err towards new.
Okay, new writers. Well, I am a new writer, being just 20. And I ask myself that every morning when I get up. What am I going to do to get to where I'm going? And what I've been coming to lately is to really just write everything. And I write a lot of music too, so I'll write as many songs as I possibly can that I can squeeze out of my brain and heart, just constantly searching for the chord progression or the words or the poem. And most of this is just to throw away and to get closer to that one or the two or however many that are actually worth your while. And I've thrown so many songs and poems away, like countless. So I'd say, if I had any advice, it's just to not be afraid to, like, throw down some garbage and just let it out and then throw it away. And don't be afraid to throw away your good stuff too and move on from something that you actually thought was really good at the time and is kind of fading, or even throw something away you really love and see how it feels,
Yeah.
and
see
move
where that
on from
draws you.
something that's great.
Yeah.
Constantly changing. I think that's important as an artist and as a writer to push the boundary as much as possible.
Constantly changing, and don't be afraid of failure.
Don't be. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
That's a hard part of it.
Oh man, that's perfect advice for any new writers out there.
Old writers too.
Old writers too.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't ever stop. I'll say that much. Like, you're always
Yeah.
gonna, if you're doing this process once, it might change how you write, your style and stuff like that, but the core principles, don't stop, keep writing,
Yeah.
keep doing it. It's gonna
Yeah.
be tough. You're gonna have to get through it, but
Yeah.
if you want to,
Keep changing.
yeah.
Yeah. Try not to be scared.
Don't be daunted. Exactly. Don't be scared. Writing is fun, and it's not some high, hard to reach out of your grasp thing.
And write about your misery and your joy, Write
Yeah.
about all of it. I get caught up in writing about just awful stuff. But it's important to kind of, reach down and find something that's happy and joyful.
Breathe a little bit.
Every once in a while.
Do both, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a blister.
Like a blister. A beautiful blister.
Well, thanks, man. This has been absolutely phenomenal. I'm so glad we had you on the show. Your pieces have been wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate you submitting, for one,
Yeah.
because you guys make the show. You make the show. This was your show tonight, and it was great. We were just here for
Great.
the ride and knobs and stuff. So
Yeah, and the fist fights.
And fist fights, right. The entire time. Constant fist fight.
Yeah.
Well, this has been KZFR 90.1 Writing on Air. And Writing on Air is made possible by the generous contributions of KZFR supporters and by Harrison Daily Wright Accounting Corporation in Chico. Harrison Daily Wright, specializing in accounting and bookkeeping services, auditing, tax prep and planning, and management support services for nonprofit organizations and more. To reach Harrison Daily Wright, call 895-1209. And as always, thanks for being on the show, and have a good night, everyone.